neighbors blame the volunteers for not reporting it soon enough, which really made me angry because they have paid staff here that make money. And I told them we have this technology in Southwest Virginia that they might not have heard about in Virginia, in Richmond. We have this radar that shows us when weather's coming our way. Y'all heard about it? Yeah. So on July 22nd, one of those storms was coming through, and I was kind of curious about what was happening on Yellowfinch Lane, where that excavator had toppled over, and I hadn't seen any erosion control, and there was a mess there. So I drove out there, and what did I find? A mudslide. This is from the steep slope, and it comes down. You can see my tire tracks through the mudslide there. And I don't see any sediment erosion control. You all see that?
No.
No, there's nothing there. That's July 22nd. Remember that date. So because of Tina's presentation, and I'm not a trained monitor. I just had my camera with me. I started following it along and taking a shot with a date stamp and the time, because I didn't have the fancy stuff that they have, the latitude and the longitude. So I just want to say, like, it's good to be trained, it's good to have the fancy stuff, but if you don't, if you just have this, it does the trick. So that is where from the lane, I was like, going downhill, right to the stream, got it. And then I went upstream, because I knew what they said about you with that railroad thing. So I went upstream and took a photograph. Oh, that looks pretty clear, huh? Yeah, how about that? And then I went downstream. That doesn't look too clear. Looks pretty muddy. And that's coming downstream from Yellowfinch. And then, just to say, in case you're like, well, how do we know that's where you are? I took a photograph where I was on the corner of Cove Hollow and Yellowfinch, and it had the date stamp and the time. And then this is the muddy stuff from at that corner where it's coming down off of Yellowfinch. And then there's another stream that goes along Cove Hollow. And so this is the stream coming down from Cove Hollow. And then, I don't know if you can see, but there's a culvert there that really just shows how awful that is with the sediment.
You know anything wrong with these pictures? Because we faked all this because we're a bunch of liars.
Yeah. Well, so I reported, so then I didn't know what to do. I was like, well, I got the pictures, now what do I do? So I contacted Mountain Valley Watch and said, I got photographs, what do I do? So they sent me the information on how to report it to the DEQ, and I sent a report in the next morning on July 23rd, and they came out and put up some erosion controls. I just want to point out, is anybody surprised this is what the river looked like on July 24th, based on what I just told you that happened on the 21st? So the DEQ came out on the 23rd and put in some inadequate controls. But then on August 1st, finally a DEQ inspector came to look at it. They found that the controls were inadequate that they put down that spot that was there.
Do you mean Mountain Valley put down the initial controls? You said DEQ.
I'm sorry, I meant to, well, the Mountain Valley pipeline came out on July 23rd after I sent the report in and put inadequate controls down. August 1st, the DEQ inspector finally got out there, saw that those controls were inadequate, but then he went over the hill and he found a place where there wasn't any erosion and sediment controls, which explains why downstream it was so much worse, because it was one stream after another just draining in to the Roanoke River.
Can I say something about that one? Back it up a second. So, there was a mystery for us because this is the second week. The first week was the week of July 15th, and that was when the highest readings occurred. And then the week of the 21st, it didn't go up as high, but the furthest downstream gauge, the one at Peters Creek Bridge, got so full of sediment that it started giving wrong readings like this. And I sent a note to the stormwater staff. I said, what is this? And so they contacted USGS, and it turned out that that downstream gauge was full of sediment and had to be cleaned out. The pictures that Freeda is showing you here, that yellow finch, that flows into the main stem of the Roanoke River downstream of the first two gauges on the Roanoke, okay? And so that, and until I saw this, I didn't put it together. that could explain why the river was so muddy the following week when it really didn't rain hard on the upstream segment that went by the North Fork and the South Fork. That water was coming out of Yellowfinch and probably other places that went down Cove Hollow, directly into the main stem, downstream of the first two gauges, but upstream of the Peters Creek gauge. So, to me, that's a little bit of a mystery solved.
Right. So yesterday there were scattered storms around, so I decided to drive down Yellowfinch and just see what was going on, and I find them working. Excavator, bulldozer, and so this science stuff isn't my strength, but reinsurance is, and I find these workers downhill from a steep slope where this excavator's not even tethered or winched in. And they're working moving land when they know there's scattered thunderstorms around. Just saying. So, how can people help? One of the things that would be really helpful is if property owners can contact the Mountain Valley Watch to give permission for monitors to access the streams along the Mountain Valley pipeline so that they can document these incidents. Okay? So if you know property owners that are along the Mountain Valley pipeline, if you can ask them to contact the Mountain Valley Watch, so when that technology, that radar shows us something's coming, and we know the places, we can have people go out and capture that. And when people see incidents, I didn't know what I was doing except to take a photograph, point and shoot. So please take pictures, and then the next thing I did was I contacted Mountain Valley Watch. So contact them, and they'll tell you what to do. They're very helpful. And then even more, if you can do it, is volunteer to become a Mountain Valley Watch monitor, and then you can learn to do it yourself and to teach other people how to do it. So I just wanted to encourage people to do that. And again, that's the phone number and the email and the website. Russell, did you want to say any closing words? Where'd you go?